Hi there, I'm Shane Spears and welcome to another edition of Summit Scale, beaming out to you from the beautiful city of Bath in the UK. My guest today is Nicole Jansen. Nicole, a very warm welcome. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, Shane. I'm excited to be here.
For those of you that don't know her, for over the past 30 years, Nicole has coached and trained thousands of leaders to transform their lives and achieve extraordinary results in business. Nicole's clients not only experience a substantial increase in sales, team performance and profitability, but they also experience greater confidence, clarity and personal authenticity through discovering and playing to their strengths. She's a certified human behaviour specialist, business breakthrough coach, strategic intervention coach and the founder of Discover the Edge and the Leaders of Transformation podcast and community. Brilliant. Nicole, the title of the interview today is The Invisible Code That Bonds Your Team Together, and we have 5 minutes for the interview. If you're ready, I'll start the clock.
Go for it.
So what is the problem within most teams?
Well, most teams are actually not teams in and of itself. They're actually a lot of individuals working under the same roof. And so the problem is that you have a visionary leader who has an idea and says, we're going to go this direction. This is what we're going to create. But the team is not bought in, nor is the team playing by the same set of rules. Any sports team, you watch a sports team and they've got to play by the same set of rules. There's boundaries, there's frameworks, there's a goal, the way that you score, there's players, everybody's got their own role in that. But a lot of times, organizations don't normally have that in place. They don't communicate it. And so people are just there to do their job. They're all playing their own games within the larger game.
And what's the invisible code that holds a team together?
So I learned this from Blair Singer, one of my greatest mentors. He actually wrote a book on this called Team Code of Honor. And it is a set of rules in which you play the game. It is a set of standards of behavior, things that you do that you say, okay, this is how we agree. This is how we agree to behave. This is how we agree to communicate with each other. And what happens is when you create that within organizations, people get like we're actually a team. We're actually working together towards a common vision. We understand why it's important, how it benefits each and every one of us. One of the things that's on my code, which I learned also, as I said, I borrowed from Blair's code when I worked with him. I worked for him about five years or so, is that you prioritize mission first, team second, and individual third whenever you're making decisions in the business.
Right.
And most of the time what happens is because that's not in place, it gets flipped around. So you have an individual making decisions because it serves themselves, maybe a few people at the top, but it doesn't actually focus on the mission. And even those companies that have missions, how often do those missions come up in conversation on a day-to-day basis in terms of what are we spending our money on? What are we spending our time on, our resources on? Where are we focusing our attention? Usually it's at the top level, and at the bottom level it's like, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just doing my job that I got paid for.
Yeah. And how does this differ from core values?
So core values, which I'm sure you've been in lots of businesses where they have those beautiful set of core values on the wall and they look so good. They're in the lobby. Everybody's like, wow, that's impressive. Leadership and integrity and all those things and innovation. And yet core values, everybody's definition of, let's take respect, can be different, right? Let's say, imagine you say, okay, our core value is respect. Well, what the code of honor is how do we live that out? What does that actually look like?
Right.
And there's a big difference.
Yes.
Because people say, oh, respect to me is this, like now with chivalry or gentleman, it's like respect is opening the door for a woman.
Yeah.
And some people would say that's not respect, right? They don't like that. And especially if you're talking about, international organizations and you have teams from different cultures, different diverse backgrounds, you've got all these different interpretations, understandings of what these core values, what these words mean.
Yeah.
So a code of honor is how you live that out on a day-to-day basis.
Right. It's getting much more into the behavioral level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So for example, one of the examples might be never abandon a teammate in need, right? Be on time. Well, be on time is one that, even that you've got to define. What does be on time mean? If we say we're going to start at 9 o'clock, does that mean you arrive at 9, get your coffee and are ready by 9:15?
Yeah.
Or is that I arrive at 8:45, so I'm ready by 9?
Yeah.
And that right there, if we're going to be on time for meetings, does that mean we show up at 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Or do we show up at 8:55 so that we're all sitting and ready to start the meeting at 9?
Yeah.
And these little things, which actually seem like they're little things, become very big things when you protract that out. And those were the frustrations of different expectations, mismanaged expectations, withholds, all that comes from people expecting somebody to do something and then having them be disappointed.
Yeah. And how does a leadership team put one in place if they don't have the code?
Well, so it depends on the size of the organization. So if they have a large organization, obviously they're not going to bring their entire team into a room to do this. It would be with the leadership team. And the key here is that it's not about a leader or one particular leader or a tiny group of people deciding and saying, this is how we're going to do it. And by the way, I'm going to let you all know, this is how we're going to do it. You've got to gain buy-in. Yeah. So you can start from the top with the leadership team and ask and saying, okay, so what's important to us, right? Where do the frustrations come from? And then we can set, and the key is not to have more than 10, 8, 10. You want people to actually know these by heart. Like this is how they're going to live every day and operate every day. Families can have a code of honor, and I highly recommend it. Relationships, marriages have a code of honor. How many times have relationships broken down, even at home, because they don't have an understanding of how they're agreeing to play the game? Yeah. So you start at the top, you gain buy-in, and then you can disseminate it out into the organization if it's a large enough organization that you're not having everybody there. But it's important that you let them know why it's important to them and what the benefit is for them, because you actually want the code of honor to self-police. Right. You don't want to have to police it from the top.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Nicole. Really great insight. Really like it. Folks, for more resources, check out the link below, www.discovertheedge.com/summitscale. There's a great resource there with a free gift that Nicole's put together. Nicole, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Shane.
Thanks for checking out our Summit Scale podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes and subscribe, rate us and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to learn more about the work we do or are looking for a load of free resources to help with scaling your business, check out our website, www.summitleader.com.